about these 76ers? I'm beside myself. I am overwhelmed. I opened the show by talking about how I am smitten. I am in deep smit with the 76ers team. The Harden, Embiid Sixers, and soon to be also Tyrese Maxey Sixers are just so damn enjoyable to watch. What are your early takeaways of seeing these guys play together for the first two games of their tenure together?
This is amazing. It's so much fun. I can't wait for their games to come on. I mean, we're talking about a regular season of NBA basketball. Normally, you just go through the motions, and some games stand out more than others. When you see Milwaukee, when you see Boston, those are highlighted. But normally, when you play Orlando or Minnesota or a stinking Knicks team who isn't very good, it's just one of those casually watch in passing. Not no more, my friend, because this is outrageous. We thought the pick and pop would be great, and it is. Let's factor in a pick and roll and then him roll into the basket, which opens up Tyrese Maxey. What you see is just a professional offense being run with a point guard who is magnificent passing the basketball, but is also a threat to score as well. And you see what that means for the rest of the team. And look, you're still kind of playing 5-on-4 because of Matisse Thybulle, but because of his ability to cut, which is somewhat a little bit entertaining, but I still have my long-term worries. My point is, when you have the talent that you have in Embiid and James Harden, you can make up for the deficiencies of some other players in your starting five. Every team has some players that aren't as elite as others that win championships, and your superstars just make up for those issues. And maybe that's the case for Matisse, but you have a scary tandem in Embiid, in Harden, and Maxey, and the spacing is so absurdly different that we were brainwashed for quite some time, and this is what it's supposed to look like, and it's fun.
That's exactly what I opened the show with when it came to the spacing. That's the number one buzzword I need to hear more of when talking about the Harden Sixers. You know, Harden as a member of the squad, still Joel Embiid's team, but that's what we didn't have with Ben Simmons because he was zero threat to shoot from the outside. When you actually have to D up somebody, that creates space for everybody else, especially when it's Harden or Embiid being double teamed. That to me is what's jumped out the most, is that there's just so much room on the floor now.
Absolutely. And Maxey, obviously, I was asked this a few weeks ago before everything started to play out. And once the trade first happened, who was going to be able to maximize their potential based off of Harden being here? And I think normally, organically, you would just think, well, Embiid, because of the spacing and you have to choose who to double and whatnot. But it really is Maxey because he gets the ball more wide open than I ever could have imagined, because you're highlighting the fact that you have to take care of those two stars first. And then Maxey's this generational player it seems like he's growing into. That 3-point shot at the end of the Knicks game, look, you're playing with Embiid. You're playing with Hart. I want the shot. I want that three. And that was a close game. That was a monster three made. The fact that he had the balls and said, give me that opportunity, I want it, and drilled it with ease, that was a step back three by Tyrese Maxey. In what universe is that really where we're at with this kid? It just says a lot about, one, how much he soaks in all the information and is a huge sponge, just growing so fast at a rapid pace I could barely keep up. But he's legit. He's a real stud, and he's blossoming in front of our eyes.
No, absolutely. Now, the other part of this is it shouldn't be any bit of breaking news that in a trade that involved Ben Simmons and James Harden, the Sixers got the better player in James Harden. That shouldn't even be a debate. But when you break it down, some people are like, well, he's not going to defend like Ben Simmons. He's not going to facilitate like Ben Simmons. He's not going to run the floor like Ben Simmons. He's not going to rebound like Ben Simmons. Other than the defensive thing, everything else has been far better than what Ben Simmons could ever bring to the table here in Philadelphia.
And not only Ben Simmons, but a name that definitely popped off due to the trade stuff was Seth Curry as well, right? Because But here's the thing. It's like, okay, James Harden is replacing Seth Curry. He's better at shooting the ball, at distributing the ball. He's better at defending, which doesn't mean he's a great defender. It means you're better than Seth Curry, which isn't hard to do, but he's a better rebounder. He's better in every single area of the game of basketball than Seth Curry. I don't understand why there was ever a reaction to be upset with moving a player who didn't even want to show up here, a nice starter in Seth, and an Andre Drummond that wasn't going to re-sign at the end of the season anyway. So the compensation was a no-brainer for me if you're Daryl Morey, even with the first-round picks, that whatever, it is what it is. You got James Harden. James Harden. People said, get rid of him. Just get rid of Ben. Go get Sexton. Go get this. Go get that. You got James Harden.